this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I thought let's come along and make some little paper bags, but we're going to make paper bags with a difference. We are going to make them with vellum. Now when I say vellum, I tend to use tracing paper rather than vellum. So this is a kind of thick quality tracing paper. So yeah, it kind of feels more like vellum. So I've got a bunch here that I've actually printed off printables onto, and I have got some here that's plain as well. So we're going to kind of have a play around and see what looks best, or, you know, just, yeah, have a play around. And then I've got some scraps of just paper that we're going to use for our base of the bag. So basically we're going to have a base of patterned paper, and then layered over we're going to have the vellum. So I'm not sure how this is going to look with the patterns on top, I've got to say. So, you know, you might want to kind of like choose your patterns or choose your papers carefully, so that, you know, you can hopefully get things that are sort of going to look, you know, quite pretty together. So if I take, for instance, this section here, now I'm just wondering how best to do this. So I mean, I could even have it, no, not that way, but no, I think I'm gonna see, this is the problem. Whenever I use vellum, I then can't bring myself to actually cut into it, or tracing paper, you know, when I print on it, I then can't bring myself to cut into it because I don't print on it that often. When I do, I'm like, oh, I want to hold it and, yeah, not use it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut it down to approximately the height that the bag's going to be. So we could have it like there. And then I'm going to cut it wider than the piece needs to be, because what we want to do is wrap it around the bag, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to now take the what's going to be the back of the bag. Let me move this all out of the way so we can see a bit more clearly what we're doing. So I've got here the hydrangea paper, and then this is from the Junk Journal Basics set 2. So I mean, by no means are they kind of like two papers that, you know, by rights should go together, but hopefully this is going to kind of look good. So I'm going to trim this down to the size I want to have the bag. So, and by size I'm meaning kind of the width of the bag. So like that. Okay. And then we're going to take this in. So then what we're going to do is just put this over here like that. Now what we want to do is have then a jaggedy bit here. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. For some reason, that was my mum and dad phoning, and it actually knocked my camera off. So yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there, but it just stopped the camera dead. So then I'm going to take my zigzag scissors, because we want to then zigzag the top of the bag. Because, you know, paper bags, they tend to have the zigzag top, don't they? So I'm going to do exactly the same here with the what's going to be the back of the bag. So like that. Okay, and then hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this around here like that. So we've just got like the pretty bit of the background kind of like poking out from the bag like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fold this in here. Okay, so I'm going to do one here, oops, one this side. And then what I will do before I glue it down, I just want to miter these corners. So take my normal scissors, like that. And, oh my goodness. Like that, and then open this out, just take that off as well, which actually I could have opened that out and then I would have not had to do this, so I'll try and remember to do it properly next time, like that. So then what I can do is literally take my glue, because when you glue vellum it often has this like shrivelly kind of thing going on, you know, it doesn't kind of like glue down really smooth and flat. So the fact that this is being glued at the back where it's not going to be visible is just going to overcome that. So let me just unclog my glue because I haven't used it yet today. Yeah, so the fact that this is glued at the back, it's not going to matter if that kind of shrivels, because you're not going to actually notice it. So like that. Okay, let me just get some tissue to mop this out now. Okay, got a dried wipe here. So just squish that down like that, and on the other side like that. And then on the bottom, we'll just fold this bottom piece up like this. Okay, and then just glue that down as well. Like that. I do love using, you know, the vellum or the tracing paper, but I do sometimes find it a little bit tricky to use because, you know, of the things like the shriveling, you know, where it's glued and things like that. So these are just a different way to use it. So can you see that? We've got crinkle here, crinkle there. And then what I'm going to do is just snip in the corners, because paper bags tend to have the little kind of like shape top, don't they? So like that. How cute is that bag? Obviously the back, oops, that's just got some resistance from that tracing paper going on. Obviously at the back you have got the like messy bit going on with the crinkling and all that. So these are kind of like a strictly glue down type item, but how gorgeous do they look? And then when you put something into the pocket, obviously you've got the see-through quality of the vellum, which is really nice, isn't it? So yeah, really, really cute, aren't they? So let's make a couple more of these, like mixing up some of the different patterns and papers and things. So that was using, like I say, the Junk Journal Basics and the what do you call it, the hydrangea. So yeah, I'm going to kind of mix these up with maybe unexpected kind of papers, I think. So, you know, hopefully get some fun results. So just going to bring my paper back in. So this here is the Rich Damask. We could have it on here. This is my what's this called? My mind's gone completely blank. Vintage Desk Set 3. We could have it on that. I've got this polka dot, which, oh no, I don't like it on there. I think it is quite nice on here, to be honest. So yeah, let's cut this down. Just going to cut it down like this. So like that. And then just cut straight across here like that. Probably try and get rid of some of that green if I can. Okay, right, it doesn't look very straight. I've not made a very good job of cutting this, but that's okay. Right, going slightly more. So this is now a bit of a narrow bag, but that's okay. So then we're going to take our vellum. So yeah, Vintage Desk set 5 and maybe even set 6. Oh, I'm so sorry, I've like lost track now of what it was since I've been talking. So I'm going to put it here, so as I've just got that part showing. So then what I'll do, I'm just going to fold it in and then I'll cut it down afterwards. So fold it in here like that, and I'll fold it in here on this side like that. Okay, like that, and then just snip down here on the edge. Like that, and I'm going to snip it down here. Obviously we just want enough to be able to fold it up. Okay, I'm going to now fold this up. So I'll just open it out here. We'll fold it up here like that. Okay, and then I'm going to just open this out. And I'm going to cut that mitered kind of bit across the whole thing, and then I don't have to do that, you know, opening this out thing that we did just now. Then what I'm going to do here is just cut across with my ziggy zaggy scissors again. So like that. Okay. And just take this and pop it down. Just checking I had it up the right way. Okie dokie. Like this. So again, just glue that down. Oh, these are really fun to make, actually. I love the way that they're looking, you know, pretty with the contrast in front and back. So like that. And this one. The other thing is I do find vellum can be a little bit resistant to wanting to glue down. So, you know, like just now I said, oh, it's peeling up. It can do that. So, you know, oops, you sometimes have to kind of like press it quite a few times to get it to actually glue down. So like that. Okay, and then again, just going to cut across the top. Now I'm going to cut down lower, so we've just got it slightly smaller there. Okay, and then we're just going to do that corner piece. I mean, strangely, those corners make quite a big difference, don't they, to it looking like a bag or not. You know, before you cut the corners in, I don't think it necessarily really resembles a bag, but once the corners are cut in, that feels to me like the thing that really makes it baggish, you know. I don't know why, but yeah, for some reason that kind of makes quite a big difference. So how gorgeous is that one? Absolutely love it. So yeah, let's have a look now at, let me just double check that this is gluing down. Okay, right, let's do another one. So shall we do, yeah, I've got some of my I think this is the Myrtle Cottage, I think, on the vellum. Now shall we try this with the polka dot? Oh my goodness, how gorgeous is that? That is lovely. Now shall I do like mainly the whole, or actually I quite like it like that, I think. So yeah, let's do it like this. So going to take this in about here. Honestly, I'm so terrible wanting to hoard this. It's like killing me to cut into this. Okay. Like that. And then we're just going to take this over. Right there. Just going to cut it down slightly on this edge. So this is a great way to use up scraps and things, because obviously, you know, for your base pieces, you really don't need very big pieces, to be honest. I mean, depending on the size of your bags, obviously, but yeah, I mean, probably you're not going to make them huge, are you? So they don't need to be very, very big. So again, just going to squish that down there. Squish this over. I mean, to be honest, this would be quite a nice TV project because, you know, it's pretty quiet. It's not going to kind of like interrupt anyone while you're watching TV. And you could just take it, you know, like on a tray, take a bunch of paper and vellum. And as I just said, you know, I'm using this kind of like printed vellum. You don't have to use printed vellum. If you've got just, you know, plain vellum, then that would be fine too. Just going to snip that off there. And then just, oops. Let's do a piece with the plain in a moment. So, like that. Okay, and then just pop this on here. Okay, yeah, they're very cute, aren't they? Oh, what's going on with my glue today? Again. Oh, drives me potty. Absolutely potty. Okay. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Maybe you are doing some crafting. I hope you're having a nice time. So yeah, do share below what you're working on at the moment. Always fun to hear. What do you think to vellum? Do you like using vellum? Do you find it, you know, a bit like me, do you find it nice when you've done it or when you've made something, but actually quite tricky to work with. You know, that kind of finding projects that are suitable to use with vellum can be a little bit tricky. That's how I would kind of describe it, is, you know, it feels like it can be a bit tricky. Sorry, I just felt like that was curling up a bit. Yeah, it can be a bit tricky finding suitable projects, you know, where you're not going to notice the sort of curling up thing. I mean, even there, it's wanting to lift in this corner. It's very tricky to use. You know, sort of temperamental, I would say. Oh, do you know, I'm going to just be really like a cheat and go in with my hot glue to, yeah, give that a helping hand, because it's not wanting to glue down very rigidly. Okay, so I've left this so as I've got that, you know, curly font kind of showing. So okay, and then let's just snip the corners in. Right, that one is a little bit wide, I've got to be honest. I don't actually like the look of that one very much because I made it a bit too wide, which, I mean, you do get wider bags, don't you, I suppose? But yeah, I mean, ordinarily, I think I would much prefer it narrower. I'll kind of much that one up, really, but, you know, it's fine. Anything really works, doesn't it? So, but yeah, maybe next time I will try and make it a little bit narrower. So I'll just squish this down. Okay. Yeah, very resistant to the gluing, the vellum. So just a bit annoying, to be honest. Let me just put my stapler on there. Okay, right. Next one. So we said we were going to do one with the plain, didn't we? So this one, as you can see, I've kind of spilt like a bunch of tea or coffee or whatever on there, and it's now puckered a little bit. Again, I'm going to just try and use like a different section where that won't be so noticeable. So yeah, let's pick a nice background page, and I'm thinking let's do something quite bright and colourful. So I've got here some of my Pink Ladies paper, so let's use some of that. Oh, that's my daughter and her friends coming in. So yeah, let's use a little bit of this. Oh, Bo, be quiet. Now, oh, maybe here. So I'm going to go in here. It's going to be a quite smallish bag because I've only got quite a smallish area to use here anyway. So let's just take this down. I'm just going to cut it with my zigzag straight away, actually. So like that. Oh, that's a bit rubbish because look, I've got that lady's face now. Looking really naff in there. So I'm going to cut this down more. So yeah, going to cut it, yeah, on this edge. So go in like that. And then I'm just going to cut this down more because I'm not happy with that, you know, the face kind of showing. So we'll just drop it across there. This one's going to be a tiny little bag, but that's okay. You know, they're nice to have different size bags, aren't they? So we're just going to take this one. Now, again, I'm going to just quickly chop this now. So straight across with the zigzag, like that. And then here, we're going to go across here. Now, this one's not showing up that brilliantly, which is a little bit annoying. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to glue it down. Oh, I haven't really left much to play with here. Totally my fault because I've cut it, you know, I've forgotten kind of like cut it the same size as the paper. So yeah, it was kind of like a mistake on my part. So just going to do that, and then I'm just going to cut this down here. So open it back out, and then, whoops, like that. Miter the corner, and then like that. Take this across here, miter this corner, and then what I'm going to do to try and make it sort of a bit more standy outy, I'm going to ink this up because at the moment I feel, oh, it looks a bit rubbish, you know, because it's yeah, it just looks, you know, not really showing up particularly brilliantly. So I'm going to go over it with some ink to hopefully make it show up a bit more. So pop that down there, like that. Okay. Squish this down. I just wondered whether this might be less resistant because it's not been printed on. I know that sounds really strange, because why on earth would the printing make a difference? But you know, you never can tell. Sometimes things like that do make a difference. I have no idea why, but yeah, sometimes they do make a difference, things like that. So squish this down like this. Just going to try and like squidge the glue out so it's kind of like more near the edge, like that. Okay, so yeah, it's all looking a bit messy at the back, but that's okay because that will be, you know, glued down. So then what I'm going to do here on the front, I'm going to just use a little scrap here to ink up the edge. So I'm going to go in here, just ink up the edge here, just so it's standing out a little bit from the background. There we go. It does make a little bit of difference, doesn't it, to just sort of make it show up a bit more. So like that, and then around the edge here, like that. Okay, like that. And then I'm just going to snip the corners in, you know, making it a bit more bag shaped, like this. Like that. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm not really loving that plain one. I thought that I was going to really like it, but yeah, I'm not really liking it that much. Obviously, you know, it doesn't matter because I will probably put something on top of the bag anyway, you know, glue something else down. I mean, to be honest, even if you just glued like, you know, a label on there, to be honest, that would sort of straight away add something to the bag, wouldn't it? So yeah, it's not the end of the world. I'm not liking it as much as I'd, you know, expected to or hoped to. So, but you know, it's good to kind of like make all the different ones, isn't it? And then you can sort of decide what you like best. So let's do another one. Let's see what other vellums I've got here. Hang on, I've got some others over here. Aha, right. I've got some, oh, weirdly, I've got some here in the Pink Lady paper. Oops. So the Pink Lady paper that we did the background of just now, I've got some here with the vellum. So just going to cut across on the jaggedy. Actually, I'll do that in a minute. Let's decide what background paper we want this with. So now I've got here some of my vintage desk set 4, I think this is. I mean, that's weird, isn't it, that combination, but strangely it might just work. I don't know whether it does or not. I can't decide. I have got some of my Capital collection paper because I tried to bring along scraps really. Oh, I'm not sure about that. No, I'm not sure about that one. I mean, I could even put it with some more of the the Pink Lady background paper, and then you've got the Pink Lady on the front and the back, which is kind of like quite nice. Should we do that? Okay, so decide which section. I think I'm going to use this section here. So let's just take this down. I'm going to take it about here. Don't want to make it too wide because remember that one that I didn't like. Yeah, that was all because it was too wide. So just going to take it across with the jiggedy jaggedy scissors like that. Okay, and then the vellum, you just wrap it around. So yeah, we could have it like that. We could have that side, I think this side. So taking that in like this. Right, actually moving it over slightly more because I think, you know, it's easier to have a little bit extra rather than not enough to be able to wrap round. So squish that down, squish it down this side Oops. Like that. Okay. Now, just going to cut this out now. I'll cut this down. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to just snip this across the top with the jiggity jaggedy scissors. So, like that. And then I can judge where, you know, where I'm going to fold it on the bottom. So, put that like that. And, yep. Wrap this around. So, yeah, quite cute actually with the matching paper, I think. Yeah, that works quite nicely actually. So pop that slightly more in like that, and then just, yeah, fold it up at the bottom like that. Okay. Yep, trim that down. Yeah. And then I'm just going to open the sides, do that mitre in on there, and that one. Honestly, how cute do these look? They are just gorgeous, aren't they? Okay, so yeah, that's going to go in like that. So I'm just going to glue this down now. The other thing that you could use to glue the vellum down, which works really well, you know that magic red tape? Is it called magic tape? I'm not sure whether it is actually, now I've said that. It's that really strong kind of double-sided tape. That works quite well with vellum. So, you know, if you've got any of that, that's another way to glue vellum down. Again, probably better if it's invisibly, i.e. like on the back of something, but you might find that's better because you don't then get the puckering or the wanting to lift. You know, the lifting, the glue seems to attract that. So, yeah. Oops. Like that. I'm just going to squish it down again with the glue spreader. Because that glue spreader, it just helps to literally get the glue out right to the edges, which just helps with the lifting that can happen. Just going to then mitre those corners in like that. Don't they make such a big difference, honestly? I mean, it's so weird, isn't it, that that's the thing that really kind of takes it from looking, you know, not like a bag to looking like a bag. But yeah, definitely that's the thing. Just using a bit more hot glue there, just to sort of get that glued down really instantly. There we go. Aren't they just so cute? And then to decorate them up, to be honest, I thought just something very, very simple. So I'll just pull them all in. I mean, they all look quite different, don't they? Quite like them all. I still don't like that one. It's too wide. I'm not loving it. But, you know, it's okay. So I'm thinking we could use something like... We've got like a couple of texty bits. So if I take this one, like that. Okay. And maybe mix this with maybe a piece from here, or actually I've got some pieces here from my decorative edge strips from something else I was making yesterday. So just take this in. These have got lots of little texty type bits, so just take that one like that. Okay, just gonna have to snip that little bit off there. Do we want another one of these colour? Okay, oops, like that. And then just, yeah, take this down here. Okay, do we think 3 is enough? I'm just going to ink these up, so let's decide which one we're going to put these on, because I'm thinking just like decorate these up with something, you know, very simple, you know, not kind of requiring anything too much. I'm going to do this one because I don't really like this one very much, so I want to try and sort of improve it. So yeah, let's kind of have a look. Now I'm thinking maybe I could put this on there as well, so let's just take this down. just because I had this left over, so, you know, I hate wasting things. So just take that down like that. Okay. And then, yeah, let's just quickly ink this up. So I'm going to ink the bag up. So again, I might need to poke some like scrap paper in just here. Just so I can get to that. And then all around, obviously, the edges. Okay. Yeah, definitely, I wouldn't do them this wide again. I mean, it wasn't intentional, obviously, that I did it this wide. I just, you know, misjudged it. But yeah, it's a bit annoying me, to be honest, being that wide. But I think it will still look cute once we've decorated it up. So just quickly ink this up around the edge. And then I'll just ink these little bits as well. This one. And then this one here. Oops. Like that. Right, so I'm thinking this little label down here, I'm thinking these, oops, have clustered up sort of at the top. Oops. Like that. Just like stapled on. Now, do we want them that side or that side? With that side. Maybe like that. Yeah. Because I'm wanting to keep the flower really kind of like visible. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take one of those little flowers. So just see if I've got some here in my little box of flowers. So hang on. Yep. Okay. No, not that one. Take one of these. So these are just some little flowers, which I've been meaning to put some in my shop on my website for ages and still haven't done. So yeah, I do apologise for that. But oh my gosh, look at that colour on there. How good does that colour look? Really, really nice. So pop that there. Now, just going to staple this all together with the flower through at the top. So I would staple it straight onto here, but I think I'm going to struggle to probably get to that. So yeah, I think I'd best staple it separately. Let me get my tiny attacher. Well, now I can't see my tiny attacher anywhere. Where's that gone? Well, that's not very good, is it? No, can't see it anywhere. I'm going to have to use my big stapler, I think. Oh no, here it is. I thought it was on here somewhere. So actually, I might be able to do this. Let's just see. See if I can get this in like that. And just, yeah. Staple that. Oh my gosh, how cute does that look? And then here, just going to have this with a little bit of lace, I think. So just see. This is a little bit on the yellow side, it's got to be said. But I think it will still look okay. What do we think? I think it looks okay. What I might do is use the middle section more. So yeah, because that's quite filled in on the edge and it's quite sort of glossy almost. So I think maybe it needs something a little bit more subtle. So yeah, let's take this down. We'll just, oops, cut around there like that. Okay. My goodness, this is very fiddly. I don't know why I'm struggling so much to cut this, but anyway, it doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah. I'm going to put that on there, do we think, or higher? Don't think it really matters too much, but actually maybe higher. So yeah, let's put that there. Now for this one, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to pop a little tiny bit of glue here to just sort of attach the lace a bit. And then I'm just going to hot glue this down. Now this is not thick paper, this is only quite thin paper, so I hope I'm not kind of going to regret trying to pop this down with hot glue, but hopefully it will be okay. So yeah, there we go. Put that down like that. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? So to be honest, even though that is still, you know, I'm still not loving the width of that bag because it is still too wide. Actually, it looks gorgeous now, doesn't it? So just very simple decoration, just with these little pieces here and just this here and just the little flower. How cute does that look? Absolutely gorgeous. So if I were using that in a junk journal, all I would literally do is glue it down now on 3 sides. So, you know, here, here and here. And then what you'd have your top loading pocket here, and then, you know, you'd have a side loading pocket where you've glued it down on just the 3 sides like that. So absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? And it's just another different way to use your vellum. So yeah, really hope that you like them. Hope you feel inspired to make some, and yeah, have fun if you do. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think to them. Really appreciate a big thumbs up to this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate you subscribing. Thanks so much then. Bye.